Good day, everyone. This is Dr. Lynne Kenney, pediatric psychologist from Scottsdale, Arizona, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in Montreal next week in order to talk about how to use 20 cognitive physical activities and executive function coaching strategies in order to improve children's cognition and self-regulation in the early years. We are going to be talking about a lot of wonderful concepts that you may not hear about other places because we integrate applied neuroscience, kinesiology, and cognitive science in the development of our activities. So we'll begin with the ready to learn brain, and we'll talk about how important it is to create settings that are low stress, high caring in order to move around the child's defensive brain and into their cognition and self-regulation. We have a little bit of a unique view on this because nationally we commonly refer to literacy as the skills needed for reading and numeracy. But what we've learned from neuroscience in about the last 10 years is that there are precursor skills prior to those early academic skills that children need in order to succeed. So we'll be talking about activities to enhance self-regulation, focused attention, working memory, sequencing, one of my favorites, and self-control. Now, you may not have thought of it this way before, but I would like to posit that while we often think of literacy skills as academics, there are all these domains that precede academic success. As an example, one thing that we may not think about that often with our preschoolers is how important auditory and visual perception are. The ability to hear sounds clearly and process them in our brains precedes phonemics, phonics, and reading, as an example. The other thing we know from current science is that motor tempo, rhythm, and timing are all correlated with reading and math. So a lot of our activities involve marching and stomping and clapping and tapping, all in time to the beat together. Now, self-regulation is a big topic, and we're going to separate it into 3 areas. We're going to talk about self-regulation, response inhibition in order to manage impulsivity, and self-control in order to help us manage how we think. And then we'll get to the executive functions. There are over 30 of them. We'll probably focus on 5 to 10 in order to prepare our children in order to think better in order to learn and behave well. So just look at some of the domains. I mean, there are a lot of skills that our beautiful children need. They need attention, and there are many parts of attention. We talk about 7 different components of attention, and we'll review them in the workshop. We need to really help children with sequencing in order to successfully plan and review before they take action. We'll talk about speed of processing. That can be a real challenge for our beautiful children, and we have motor movement activities that call upon the brain to be focused and attentive and respond speedily in time. We also probably don't think that much about agility, balance, postural control, which is highly correlated with our ability to implement our executive functions in order to learn well. We'll go through some activities with balls in order to enhance our visual perception and planning. We'll use bean bags. We'll do bilateral activities, cross the body activities. We've got some songs, so hopefully this will be very enjoyable for you. And then when we're teaching planning, sequencing, and prioritizing, we're going to teach you how to wrap a bow on things so kids know how they initiate, execute, and review and revise the activities that they do. This really helps them with their task completion. In order to have successful self-regulation and thinking skills, we need to be able to employ basic balance and walking sequences. And the reason I write balance is your end game is because balance is important throughout your whole entire life. We'll apply some of the concepts in our book, Musical Thinking, and 70 Play Activities, as well as Bloom and Bloom Your Room. because the current research shows that moving to a steady beat, being able to keep a steady beat, is highly correlated with reading and math. The ability to keep a beat actually teaches sequencing, which also correlates with math achievement. And we're going to show you some activities where we'll use tempo control in order to enhance self-regulation. Here's the attention cycle. We have a really cute biggie bookmark with the attention cycle coming out in January, but we'll talk a little bit about the different aspects of attention and how we can talk with even 2- and 3-year-olds about using the flashlight technique or turning on their headlights in order to focus on the appropriate target of one's attention. We'll do some memory, encoding, and retrieval activities using the love notes from musical thinking and 70 play activities. We've got a fun little activity where we help you to coach your students or children regarding how we encode information and recall information successfully over time. We're going to teach children the felt sense of slowing down. We think it's one of the most important things to do. The children with whom we interact, they just move so quickly, they don't know how to slow down. And when we can teach children the felt sense of slowing down, they have better self-regulation, response inhibition, and self-control. We're going to engage these beautiful children even as early as 2 or 3 years of age as cognitive scientists. We're going to make cognitive skills transparent and teach them some very simple lessons about their brains. As an example, we develop neuronal highways in our brains. This is how we take the little pathways that aren't that well connected and turn them into big highways. And this repetition and practice and doing these activities over and over again actually makes learning easier. So I look forward to seeing you next week. I hope this is a terrific and helpful introduction. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to learn many, many skills that are going to improve our students' thinking skills, self-regulation, social interaction, learning, and behavior.